Hey guys, I'm Kat.
And I'm Sunny.
And this is our
2 cents. So this season of Demon Slayer has officially come to an end. And with that, demons were slain, heads went flying, tears were shed, and Michael Jackson had his anime debut as a savage demon.
All jokes aside, the series had its ups and downs, and you either fell in love with the characters and the story, or you just found yourself wanting something more. That's it! As this is a review of the whole season, there will be spoilers. This is your warning. However, if you want a spoiler-free review, you can skip to the timestamp on the screen.
If you're one of the few people who hasn't completely binged the series after the hype of episode 19, click the timestamp. And then go watch it, and then come back and watch us. Yay.
If you're still with us, then we're assuming you've either already watched the show, or you just don't care about spoilers. So let's get started.
Woo. Being a series with 26 episodes, there's a lot to take in. Let's go ahead and break it down. Start with the story.
A young boy's life is turned upside down in one night when he comes home to find his family slaughtered and his sister turned into a demon. After a fateful encounter with a skilled demon slayer, Tanjiro Kamado then embarks on his journey to turn his sister Nezuko back into a human.
Ever since the first PV, I've been really hooked on the premise of the story. A kid trying to turn his sister back into a human from being a demon? Like, that sounds epic!
The story focuses on the relationship between the two siblings and how strong their bond is, which of course ends up being very heartwarming, and you just find yourself rooting for them to stay together.
I think we can both agree that the plot is pretty linear. It's pretty, predictable. It's still your typical shonen. But it's still entertaining to watch, for sure.
One issue that I did find with the story, though, is this goal of turning Nezuko back into a human. As much as I would love to see it, it's just kind of difficult to fathom. Because in this world, they don't know if it's possible. I just find myself getting taken out of the moment. Whenever he says that he will do it, I just question, but will you?
To me, every time Tanjiro says, I will turn Nezuko back into a human, I take it more as, anticipating how he will actually do it. I have more faith that he will, but not necessarily have the confidence that he will. I just want to see how it's going to turn out.
I'm sure if that's what's going to happen, they'll find a way. Because I don't know if that's possible. It leaves it more open-ended, which is not a bad thing. It still doesn't take away from the story. I'm interested in their journey, and I really like seeing the way it's progressing. Just my emotional investment in that aspect of it is a little less than I would prefer.
I could see that. I could see how that can, kind of jar you from what's going on in the story at that moment. Yeah.
Like in that last episode, it had this nice montage of, all their moments together. And then he said he was going to make her human again. And I just
See, and then for me, it was yes, you can turn her into a human. Yeah, you can do it. It's more inspirational.
And I think most people should get that response.
Yeah. For me, one thing that kind of took me out of the story, and this is my only complaint, but it's that the pacing was a bit slow at times. There were scenes that kind of felt like they were just there and made the story longer. Some of them do serve a purpose. They'll form character interactions and stuff. It's just that some of them weren't that great. Some of them turned out better than others. Just as an example, the spider sister getting a full drawn-out backstory, which wasn't in the manga, but then Zenitsu's annoying characteristics being really drawn out. I understand it, I just don't necessarily appreciate it every single time.
By the end of it, I did feel for the most part, it was worth it.
With the news that the movie is in the works, I can see why the studio did stuff like this. It makes sense that they'll want to plan out with the movie in mind. One aspect that the series, in my opinion, really shines is with the characters. The source material has pretty decent characters, and the anime really does a good job of fleshing them out. So I think Demon Slayer is one of those series that intentionally portrays their characters as one-dimensional in the beginning. And then eventually, as you get to know them and as you travel with them, they become more.
It's kind of like when you meet someone, you get that first impression. And since this is from Tanjiro's perspective, that's the impression he gets, and then as he gets to know them more, you get to see more sides to them.
So they become more than just this one trope of character. But by the end of it, I felt that they had developed, and they had actually grown to being more than just kind or scared or crazy. Looking at you, Inosuke. It's not necessarily the most creative way to do it, but for the series it works. It's entertaining to watch.
And so for me, I guess that's also what makes the story so exciting. Because I like just seeing all these new characters coming in and finding out about their stories. And so like this introduction with all the Hashira, there's all these people to get to know. And they too also kind of have that initial type, I guess. You have like the crazy ones and the quiet ones. Oh my gosh. But just a few minutes of getting to see them interacting, that there's a lot more to them. So I look forward to seeing their stories and how they'll develop, just getting to know them. And not only do we get this with the protagonists in the story, but also the villains and the antagonists that Tanjiro fights.
The villains and the demons that he encounters could have easily have been characters that were there for him to defeat, to get stronger. But they're also given these roles that they end up breaking.
They all initially start off as like these monsters, killing people, you have to stop them. But then you find that, like he says, they're tragic. They're also victims of the bigger villain, who's Muzan.
Yes. Who is amazing! Muzan! My god. I had hesitations towards him because I wasn't sure if he would live up to how big the story was building up to be. When you first meet him, he's like really docile.
He was built up to be bad, but then with his whole family, you're like, what else is there to you?
Yeah.
Do you really care for this family? Or are they just like a mask?
By the end of the series, it's like, oh no, he's definitely
Oh my god, that last episode? It was so cool.
Oh snap! Oh my god.
While I like most of the characters in the series, the main character, Tanjiro, is just a little less interesting for me. Like, he's almost too perfect. Like, he's so nice and righteous. And I just prefer characters who are a little, I guess, more flawed, or maybe just I like darker mindsets. Like, every time he loses his cool, it's always justifiable. But at the same time, how he's the only one, like, willing to work hard. How he sees the good in everybody. While it does make him a likable character, it just makes him a little less interesting for me. Like, it's kind of the difference, like, of Batman versus Superman. Like, Superman is so righteous and just, whereas Batman has a more edgy, darker side. But
right.
It makes him more interesting.
I could see how you take Tanjiro to be too perfect. Because, I mean, the first episode, he has his family slaughtered, but that has no effect on him almost. Like, he's still this kind-hearted person who focuses on the good of everything.
And even in that, I can get that he's had 2 years to grieve, but I want to see him lose his cool. Or, like, do something where I'm like, what are you doing? Stop, come back. But I'm hopeful that something else will happen later.
Yeah. Like, again, it could be like they're building up this character super high so that eventually when he does fall, it's like a huge tumble. But moving on, because we can talk about the characters for days, let's move on to the art, the production. Because that has a big role in this series.
That's probably one of my favorite things about the series.
The art, the animation, the blending,
the lighting,
those
the
angles,
backgrounds, the angles,
the way the camera, ufotable. Shut up and take my money. So of course, because it's ufotable, it's amazing. Animation's spectacular. But in combination with that, the sound was really good. Like, they had really good OSTs, and the way they used them to really amplify what was going on, it's great.
Yeah, it always matched the mood just right. Like, whether they're just carefree and having a nice time, or like it was emotional and just ready to rip your heart out. It really added to the storytelling. Kajiro Yuki did a wonderful job.
The way they used sound to really immerse you into the story was like great.
The acting is phenomenal too. Like, everybody in the cast did a splendid job.
Yes.
But I think credit should also go to the director too for like bringing out the best out of everybody. Not only like the emotional moments, but even like the little details they would add, especially like in the comedy. That's part of why I didn't mind Zenitsu as much.
Yeah.
Because his voice actor did a really good job. And just like their little sounds, especially him and Inosuke,
Yes.
Little, I don't know what you would call it. It's so like mumbly, grumbly. It sounded like a pig if you're scared. It was so funny, like,
Yes.
and so subtle. He's still like a bug. Why is he doing that?
Everything really came together well.
The OP and the ED took a while to grow on me.
Same. I think it grew on me more than it grew on you. I start singing it randomly now.
She always gets stuck in my head.
Sorry. So initially, when the series first started, I kind of felt that they weren't really gonna live up to what they were building.
Yeah.
The series started off and there was so much hype around it, like, oh, it's ufotable, oh, it's Demon Slayer, the manga's amazing, oh, it's so great. And then episode 3 happened, I was kind of like, okay, where is this going? But overall, once it started to pick up, I thought it was worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Right? Yeah.
The start of it was pretty slow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know where it's going.
Yeah.
But now that it's ended, like, I get what it was doing. It's showing you the character. It's like his origin story. Now he's going towards his goal. He's come into himself. He has a place. He has his comrades. Now they're gonna go kick ass.
Yeah.
Or get their asses kicked. Maybe a little bit of both.
Maybe a little bit of both. Definitely the later half of that series is like what really brought people in, what really was interesting. So yes, the series has its flaws. You know, some of the moments were really dragged out, some humor fell flat and stuff, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
And now knowing that there's a movie, it's like I can see why these moments. So like, although it doesn't really make the moments better, I can understand it more. And I can see how some people would find that annoying, but to me, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's the promise of more. So, you know, I get to see these characters again. There's no like, darn, there's nothing else to see. I gotta go read the manga and stuff.
Overall, I thought it was a great story with really compelling characters, and the quality production was amazing. The coming of age arc just ended.
Right, yeah.
And so now I feel like it's really gonna pick up from here. I think I would recommend it.
Yes. I definitely agree. If you like Shounen, you've probably already watched this.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. And if you haven't,
What are you doing?
yeah,
Get
I
on it.
recommend watching it. Even if you don't like Shounen, I would still urge you to give it a shot.
And we just want to give a shout out to our patrons. Special thanks to
Isaac Bedolla
Dark Demon 913.
and Chris Poveroni. It's thanks to you guys and all our patrons on Patreon that we're able to make these videos on YouTube. So we're really thankful.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.
If you like our content, subscribe to our channel and leave a like on the video. And if you want to see more, you can check out our past videos.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials, linked in the description.
Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.
Bye!